How y'all doing? My name is David Andre. I'm with One Voice News of New Bedford, Massachusetts. Today my subject is going to be about the execution of a young man in New Bedford, Massachusetts by the police department of New Bedford, Massachusetts. The young man, I believe, was 15 years old at the time. Or less, I'm not sure, I don't remember exactly, but he was a teenager, all of 90 pounds or so. His name is Malcolm Garcia. Malcolm Garcia was executed by the New Bedford police. The New Bedford police, prior to his execution, had been patrolling the neighborhood with their gang unit and running up on young people, harassing young people, shaking them down like they normally do, and so forth. And the most notorious part of the New Bedford Police Department is the gang unit. If you ever saw them and the way they look and carry on, there's not much difference between them and the Gestapo. And the way they deal with the young people and the people in general in the community is downright shameful. But they had been harassing people that day, and supposedly they alleged that they rolled up upon Malcolm and surprised Malcolm or whatever, and whether Malcolm knew it was a police officer that approached him or whatever, they said Malcolm got in a confrontation with the police officer, and Malcolm pulled out a knife, and the police officer got injured. Now, that has never been proved that it was Malcolm, because there was a lot of people running around that area at the time because of what the New Bedford Police gang unit was doing. But anyway, as a result of that allegation made by the police against Malcolm Garcia, the police formed a little police posse and went out hunting for him. And when they found him, when they cornered him, now mind you, he's a 90-pound, 15-year-old child, they surrounded him, and several cops opened fire on him and executed him right out there in the public. Now, the police, at the time of them hunting for Malcolm, had the taste of blood in their mouths. They were angry that one of their officers were allegedly injured by Malcolm, so they went on a hunting mission looking for revenge. And they found Malcolm, executed Malcolm. City government all came out in support of the police as usual. The mayor of that time almost immediately came out in support of the police. The weak black and brown leadership of the city, like can be found in most cities, that exists solely for the service of the power structure, came out and spoke sweet words and gave long speeches to calm the people down, because initially the people were quite angry. And I was there at the time at one of the rallies, and I was trying to keep that anger going, because you should be angry. This is not a time for a cookout. This is not a time for a feel-good speech. This is a time for to vent your frustration and your anger at the loss of this young life. But the black and brown Negro-European leadership, I call them Negro-European leadership because they're black or brown on the outside, but they think like a European on the inside. You see, and this is the weak leadership that the city always calls on when one of these incidents happens, to calm the people down, to turn their anger into a cookout, into a love fest. And that's what they did. They turned it into a kumbaya kind of a meeting and helped the city quell the initial anger that the community was feeling at the time. And I was the only one out there speaking about you should be angry. You have a right to be angry. Don't let them tell you anything other. Don't let them get you to accept this. Well, anyway, the cops got away with murder. It went to court. They made a settlement with the family for peanuts. and the cops got away with the murder of Malcolm. Videos that were taken at the scene at the time of the murder, at the execution of Malcolm, that were video cameras that were up on the poles watching us black people. Well, those videos were also recorded what the police done. Guess what? Till this day, we haven't seen the video. First they disappeared, then they reappeared, then they found a copy of it, blah, 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 made all kind of excuses. But where's the video? Why hasn't it been made public? Where's the disclosure? Where is all this, let's be truthful and honest? What happened to all that? But it was a great cover-up that was made by the mayor, city council, and by the Negropean leadership, who has not got the testicular fortitude to do what they need to do in situations like this, because their existence is tied up with the existence of those in power. They live off the crumbs that fall from the table of those in power. And so they seek to be pleasing and useful to those in power. So we never get what we need from them. They never say what they should say. They never say it quite how it should be said. If they speak at all, they speak weakly and sweetly. And they choose their words carefully so as not to offend those in power. They will never tell you like it should be told, because they're seeking to be useful to those in power. They're seeking a favor, a job, funding, recognition, a position, something from those in power. And so they speak sweetly with weak words that water down the situation, the horrible situation of the execution of a young black man in the city of New Bedford by the New Bedford Police Department. And people like me that are willing to spit it out and say it like it is get shot down, get attacked by this very Negropean leadership and by those in power. Gets attacked and discredited and so forth. But I'll never stop speaking the truth. So we need to come together to make sure that this execution of Malcolm Garcia does not get swept under the rug. We need to make sure that we keep this issue alive, and that we come together, whatever the family's doing, whatever the different groups in the city of New Bedford are doing about this case, that we come together and we come in support. The police officers involved in this execution need to be brought to justice. They murdered a young black child and walked away unscathed. And they made a settlement with the Malcolm's family and gave them peanuts, literally peanuts. So we need to come together and we need to fight to keep this case alive. Okay? I'm David Andre, and I'm with One Voice News. So subscribe to my YouTube channel. Like my One Voice News, New Bedford One Voice News page, like that. And join my One Voice News, New Bedford's One Voice News group. And follow me on my page. You know, send me a friend request. All right. So let's work together to keep the memory and the name of Malcolm Garcia alive. Don't let his execution be swept under the rug by the city of New Bedford and the New Bedford Police Department. Peace.